So, welcome to this Total Balance mini training. This is for you if you're feeling burned out, if you're feeling stressed or upset, if you're directionless and you just don't know why. Maybe there's tension in your marriage or in other relationships while you're really just longing to be seen and to be heard and to be loved. Now, life can be so beautiful, but it can also be such a huge struggle. And wherever it is for you right now, we all struggle at times in our lives. We all have pain. We all have loss. We all have situations that make us really angry or just frustrate us to no end. But the question is right now, how are you dealing with it? Are you barely keeping your head above water, or are you actually just going under? Well, let me introduce myself. My name is Tammy Carlson. I'm married to David. We've been blessed with 6 children. One is already in heaven. The other 5 range in age from almost 16 to 26. I'm also a coach and a trainer, and I work with the Total Balance program of coaching. Now, Total Balance is now an international network of Christian coaches, each with their own unique way of working with the practical and effective Total Balance program. And this helps people who are stuck with whatever it is. It helps them actually figure out what's holding them back and really get out there and live their lives again. You get to know yourself well. You'll notice that in your work and in your private life that you'll have new energy, and you'll be inspired to make better choices. You'll start living every day from a place of peace and a place of balance, which is of course wonderful for you, but of course certainly has a positive influence on everyone around you. And I'm really excited to be able to work with this program. So let's talk about the focus of this training. So after this training, you're going to know what you're up against, where you're stuck, so that you can figure out where to actually go from here and what the best route is to get there. So I'm going to be sharing some theory with you as well, so you can go from sitting exhausted and stressed on the couch to living a life full of energy and specifically leading a balanced life. So I'm also going to be explaining how a total balance coach can really be beneficial to you in this process. So you'll get to know that as well. So let's start now by talking about you. What are the roadblocks that are keeping you from going forward? So before we go any further, make sure that you've completed the balance test. If you haven't completed it, please stop the video and do that first. It's really meant to be used together for maximum benefit. So stop the video and complete that first, and I'll see you back in a minute. So now hopefully you've gotten that balance test completed. This is really going to help you come up with your personal specific focus for this training. A lot of people don't even realize that they're unsatisfied with their lives or their choices. They sit where they always sat and they do what they always did, and meanwhile wonder why they don't feel better, why they aren't happy, why their life is run by the clock. So the fact that you're watching this video tells me that you're tired of how things are and that you maybe want them to be different. Maybe you just feel stuck somewhere. Something is just off. You can't quite put your finger on what it is. You're not comfortable where you are, but you're not sure what to do or where to actually go to fix it or actually change things or move in a positive direction. You don't want to stay where you are. And what you really need are the tools and skills to start making changes and creating that positive momentum. So maybe it makes you nervous to listen and start hoping that things can change, but let me assure you they can. Take a chance, listen to me for a few minutes. Let me help you get started on your journey to a fulfilled life. So make sure you have that balance test done and with you so we can get started. Now, the question I first want you to tackle is, what's holding you back? What's blocking your progress? Now, if that's difficult to answer, what I'd like you to do first is, what would you like to be different? So it's a good idea to it's really important, crucial even, to stop taking and take yourself seriously. So now I want you to stop the video again and really think about this for a minute. Take a minute, be quiet. What thoughts are coming into your head? Where are you dissatisfied? What doesn't just what doesn't just feel right. Stop now. Write those things down because you need that to make insight for us to move on and make progress. So you're back. If you haven't done the exercise, stop. Please do it now. Really allow yourself the time to and room to think. Well, so maybe you want another job or you're dissatisfied about your relationships, different relationships. Maybe you're just plain tired and exhausted of everything. And maybe it's that you're chronically ill and you want to learn to accept it. Or maybe you're about to make some decisions, but doubt if you're making the right decisions. Whatever it is that's overwhelming, whatever it is that's just too much to handle, I really do understand. I've dealt with years of trauma. I've lost a son as well as a husband. I've lived with fibromyalgia for years. I've been overwhelmed and wondered if decisions I was making were the right ones. I've struggled with exhaustion because I was also just in constant battle to please everyone, but I couldn't. And I came down crashing hard. And I mean hard. And I was confronted with limits that I didn't want to acknowledge, let alone accept. And in the process, though, I've learned some really beautiful and precious lessons through all the struggle and the sorrow and the pain and the grief, things that I wouldn't have learned otherwise. I've learned to ask better questions. I've learned to give others their own room to make their own choices. And these are lessons and steps that I'm sharing to help others so that they can benefit from what I've learned. And, I remember when my son died, I just kept thinking, I can handle this, but God, please just don't let anyone else go through this kind of pain. Well, of course, that wasn't up to me to decide, but the desire to help others through what I've been through has only grown over the years. So, there's something that I need to add to this whole story, and that is how God has carried me through all my life, all my challenges and my pain and my problems. He stood by me when I have felt completely and utterly alone. The longer I walk with him, the closer I get to him, the more I see how he's held me and sustained me and carried me when I just couldn't get back up again, when I wondered if he existed or whether he was against me like I thought he was and everyone else was. He stuck with me and he wasn't put off by my anger or my accusations. And my heart now really is for everyone to come in contact, that I come in contact with, to see that they're Jesus' favorites too. And like it says in Colossians 1:28 and 29, Christ is my message. I preach to awaken hearts and bring every person into the full understanding of truth. It's become my inspiration and my passion in ministry to labor with a tireless intensity, with his power flowing through me to present every believer the revelation of his or her being the perfect one in Jesus Christ. So these are the verses what have been written on my heart my entire life, actually. I desire to be a good and faithful steward, to be obedient, to make the choices that please him, giving him honor and glory by using the talents that he gave me. Yeah, and this may seem familiar to you, parts of it at least. Maybe you find church, though, difficult place, full of pain and wounds. I totally understand that. Maybe the Bible is just difficult to understand. Whatever it is, bring it to him. Let God have your pain. Let him have your grief, your struggle, your questions, your doubts. He can handle it, so you don't have to. Now, the next question I want to ask is, what is the impact that everything that you're struggling with right now, what has that had on your life, on your loved ones, your work, your finances, your health, your dreams, your goals? What does it cost you? So another question, do you experience meaninglessness or futility in your life? Try to notice how your body feels when you consider this, because this is a really good clue to noticing what you actually really feel and what your emotions really are. Do you feel gloomy or perhaps, despondent when you start thinking about things and you realize how much your struggle has actually cost you? And not only you, but your friends, your family, your work, your finances. Maybe you're noticing that you don't have any good relationships at all because you just keep struggling and you pushing everybody away without making any forward progress. Listen carefully to this, and I'm in no way trying to discourage you or bring shame, guilt, or condemnation. By no means. However, it is my purpose to help you discover and acknowledge and accept what's holding you back. as well as the toll it has already taken. This is really the first step on your journey to change. Now we can start to make some lasting, sustainable changes. So what I want you to do now is to stop the video again. Make sure that you've answered these questions thoroughly. What's holding you back? And what's cost it you? And what's the cost to those around you? So write down everything you can think of. Make the picture as complete as possible. And then we can move on. So I'll see you back in a few minutes. So now that we've answered the question, what's holding you back and what it's cost you, now we're going to move on to answer the question, what are you really looking for? Is it an actual change, or could it maybe just be a perspective that you need a new perspective for the difference you're looking for? Well, what part or parts of your life do you want to get a handle on? Where do you want to start living abundantly? Let's take a minute and think about what your ideal life looks like. Do you actually know the dreams that live in your heart? Do you dare? Are you going to dare to take a close look at that dream? Is it a bit dusty? Well, stop here. Let your mind and your heart run wild. Ask God for his dream. Let that dream play like a video in your mind. And then, yes, we're going to write that down. Write down everything you can, every little detail. And this will really help you. Don't let your criticism, though, or that of someone else limit you here. Just take a moment. Open your mind, open your heart. What do you dream of having your life be like? Try to answer this question for as many areas as you can in your life, spiritually, relationally, health-wise, career-wise, financially. I really believe that God puts dreams in our hearts that fit perfectly with who we are and what makes us feel alive and fills us with passion and uses our talents and gifts. You are unique. You are a beautiful example of the love of God on this earth. You are meant to be an inspiration, full of energy and full of joy. You are blessed so that you can then bless others, no matter what it may feel like right now. So now put aside everything that's holding you back. Literally, take that piece of paper of everything that's putting you back, put it on the side, stop the video, answer the question, what's my ideal life like? What are my dreams for my life spiritually, relationally, in my health, in my career, in my finances? Take the time to write this down. Get really clear, and I'll see you in a minute. Well, you're back. Great that you did that. You know, living your life from a place of passion and value, using your talents and your gifts in service is really what is going to bring you joy and peace in your life, and also to those around you. So let's take this a step further. Go back to your dreams, your ideal life that you just wrote down, and now think about it. If you lived a life in service from a place of passionately living out your ideal life, what would the impact be on you spiritually, relationally, in your health, your career, your finances? The next step, how would that flow over into the lives of everyone around you? What would it look like? What would the impact be? So stop for a second, take another few minutes and try to get really, really clear on this. What would the impact be if you really lived your dream? Stop the video for a minute and get busy. Okay, now you're back. Let's look at everything we've done. First, we looked at where you're having a roadblock. And then we take a look at what it's costing you. We looked at your ideal life, what your dreams are, and then we looked at what the impact would be if you started living that life. And now we're going to decide, okay, how are we going to go after this? How are we going to start moving towards sustainable change, sustainable freedom? So first, take a look at what's costing you the most right now. We're going to tackle that, okay? I also want to have you look at what your dream is, your ideal life, and what could give you the most impact if you achieved it, or at least if you were moving in that direction. And so from both of these, we're going to now brainstorm ideas for how you can start affecting change and moving towards eliminating that roadblock and living your dream. And brainstorming is seriously a great activity to learn how to do. I'm going to quickly explain how to do it, so you can begin to harness the power of this activity for yourself. So when you're going to start, you're going to go get 2 sheets of empty paper. On one of them, you're going to write down your roadblock on the top or in the middle, wherever you'd like. And on the other, what you're going to do is you're going to write out your dream. what you're going to work towards. So those just one thing. Then you're going to set a timer for at least 2.5 minutes. And this is really critical. Let all your criticism, your negative and limiting beliefs go, and write down every single idea that comes into your head, no matter how crazy it is. And in fact, seriously, the crazier the better. And keep writing. Don't stop. Even if you're stumped and don't know, write down a good question like, okay, what else can I do? Where else can I go? What are my options? Write on paper. Writing on paper activates creativity in your brain, and it can really help you to come up with ways and to solve things, brilliant solutions actually, and also gives room for the Holy Spirit to give you inspired ideas. So when you're done, then reread it, use a different color if you can, and try to edit your brainstorming. Don't cross out things like, oh, this won't work, oh, that won't work. Read it over, find one thing you can do, one thing that you can implement to move towards eliminating your roadblock and living your dreams. So when you've chosen that one thing, go back and do the same thing on the second piece of paper. And seriously, relax. Enjoy this process. This is fun. I'll see you in a few minutes.